Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, May 26th of 2019. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and in our daily lives that create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. And every choice we make stems from a place deep inside in our hearts. And you say, well, not every choice, right? Because sometimes it doesn't feel that way. But if you trace it all through the many layers of your being, everything can trace back to that place inside of you that is that pure existence of unconditional love, that breath of spirit that is breathed into that kernel of your heart that is the entire ocean of existence. This is that innermost secret inside of yourself that you can know, and you can know it completely. And it is a place that is breath of spirit breathing you, consciousness of spirit showing up and participating in the life events of this world through you. It is the rhythm that beats your heart and that perceives all of the wisdom of this beautiful existence, this planet, this everything that we experience here, that we come into relationship with here. That core of your being is there, and it has been there and is intact. It is what it has always been. That, and our physicists and our astrophysicists tell us that we are literally stardust. We are literally stardust. And our spiritual teachings tell us that we think we are a small star when in fact we contain the whole universe inside of us. And the poet Rumi says, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. So how the heck do we go from all of that to feeling so small sometimes? How does the heart go from feeling like the vast, limitless, infinite ocean to feeling like a bag of heavy rocks that we got to carry around and try to breathe through and find that glimmer of light in there that reminds us of the love inside? But it's all still there, and that's the journey that we're on as we squeeze into these little bodies and try to fit into this life on the planet Earth. It reminds me of a poem from Hafiz. I'm going to see if I can find it real quick, but I'll try not to have just dead space here while I'm looking for it. Let's see. There it is. Okay. So this poem from Hafiz says, I'm sure you've probably, well, actually, I'm not sure you've heard it before. It's very profound. It says, you are the sun in drag. You are God hiding from yourself. Remove all the mine, and that's in quotes, M-I-N-E, the mine. That is the veil. Why ever worry about anything? Listen to what your friend Hafiz knows for certain. The appearance of this world is a Magi's brilliant trick. Though its affairs are nothing into nothing, you are a divine elephant with amnesia trying to live in an anthole. Sweetheart, oh sweetheart, you are God in drag. I love that poem from Hafiz. Oh goodness. And We get squeezed into these little bitty bodies that contain everything. We experience ourselves as more of the density than the light. It's more of the rocks than the stardust. And the heart gets pretty heavy. I know I woke up that way today, feeling like, where's my heart? Where did it go? And it's amazing how, just a day's time, if that, can burden the heart so much, let alone a lifetime. We need, as human beings, to have a regular practice, a daily practice, or a minutely practice, as the case may be, depending on your life, right? We need a practice that will help us to wash and cleanse the heart, to clear that pathway from that innermost spark, that breath of spirit inside, and that place inside that is the vast ocean. We need to clear the pathway that leads us back to that. And as I was doing my morning meditation today, that song from Pink came into my head. I mean, I was literally, it's like, my heart was feeling, it literally just felt like there were so many rocks piled in there and crammed in there. I'm like, gosh, where did these come from? And so I was just doing my meditation and clearing that out, and getting my heart to a place where I could feel love flowing through it again, which is a beautiful place to be. And I thought, okay, this isn't moving fast enough for me. So I grabbed the pen and paper and just started writing a letter to God, and just writing about how my heart feels and what I really long to feel, and just, letting that flow of consciousness go. And then that song just started playing in my head. And I have to admit, I didn't know all the words, but it was just that just a little bit's enough. I can learn to love again. And that started coming in. And so I looked up the lyrics, and it's like, yes, this is perfect. This is perfect. And the lyrics for that song, if you don't know them, I'll read them to you. It says, just give me a reason, just a little bit's enough, just a second. We're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again. It's in the stars, it's been written in the scars on our hearts. We're not broken, just bent, and we can learn to love again. And that is so much of our journey. So much of our journey is about covering over the heart, forgetting the truth of the heart, and then learning to love again, forgetting the love and then remembering the love. The Sufi meditation practice is called the remembrance because it is about remembering the love in the heart. Remembering the love that we feel, the love that we miss, the love that we grieve having lost, the love that we yearn for. However that representation of love shows up for you, it is our human journey that we come in as these pure beings. The existence of the breath of spirit in these little bitty tiny bodies. And then we go through life and we start to identify with our material existence and with our physical bodies, and everything that we perceive comes through what we perceive with our five senses. And we believe that this is it, that this is what life is. And a big part of what we do is to shut down our feelings. And we forget to feel. We close them off because the feeling is too intense. And then we go through with the sack of rocks in our heart instead of the garden, the sacred garden of love. At least that's our experience of it. And that's by the divine design. The part of the divine design is that we go through this sense of separation, this experience of separation. And it is that yearning in the heart that has always been there that eventually guides us back home. And it guides us home through the layers of our hearts and through the scars on our hearts. Everything that we've ever been seeking can be found inside. We think that, so often we think that the scars on our hearts make us damaged, make us somehow unworthy to ever find love again, make it impossible to ever find love again, because those scars on the heart can get pretty covered over, right? They can get pretty big and they cover over the doorway to the love inside, but the love inside is still there, and that's the vast infinite ocean. A lot of, we hear that your past is what makes you who you are. The past is that thing that puts the scars on your heart, and somehow we think that's what makes us tough, that's what makes us resilient, that's what makes us this way or that way, or survivor or a thriver. But all of those things, the scars on your heart, they just help you to know who you are and always have been in the face of the adversities that you've encountered and the hardships that you've encountered on your pathway. But none of that stuff you've ever encountered makes you who you are. It has perhaps given you circumstances that will remind you of who you are inside and always have been. But they don't make you. They don't make you anything. They just give you an opportunity to display that for yourself in this realm of consciousness, so that you can know it from this realm of consciousness and strengthen it for the heart and soul within you. Strengthen your conscious knowing of it. But it's always been there, and it's in you, and it's a part of your divine design and your divine plan on this planet. All of those scars on the heart and all of the heavy rocks that we carry in the heart are just there to remind us of how infinite and vast and strong and powerful we truly are. And within all of that, the true strength and the power is born of unconditional love, and it is that yearning to return to that ocean of unconditional love that guides us back home. So let's come into our prayer and healing circle. Let's all come into a circle, gathered in our circle, sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, coming together. And let's take a full and gentle breath. And as you exhale, bring your heart center, that funnel of energy at the front of your heart space, your heart chakra, the energy center at the front of your heart. Bring that center to face directly into the center of our circle. And let's, as our hearts come together at the hub, from the depths of our heart, face directly to our source, to your highest power, your highest source, and call and ask directly for that essence of divine light to stream into the center of our circle, to touch into our hearts, and let your heart just be with that stream of divine light. And let your heart acclimate to that stream of divine light as it pours into the center of our circle, touching into your heart space. And if it feels comfortable for you, begin to breathe in through your heart center, like that funnel of energy that extends from the front of your heart, through which you can see through the eye of your heart. Let that become your breathing portal, and as you inhale, inhale that essence of that pure divine light, breathing it into your heart. And as you exhale, just relax, release, and soften. Allow that exhale to be like the wave that is carrying your rocks from the shore all the way into the depths of the ocean, the divine ocean of divine light, of the pure divine essence. But those rocks can be cleansed, or whatever the divine would wish to do with those rocks. And again, as you inhale, breathe in this pure essence of divine light. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, calling on the divine light on Nur. Breathe this into your heart center. As you exhale, relax, release, and let your heart space be softened. Let those rocks tumble with the waves into the depths of the ocean. And again, as you inhale, breathe in this essence of this pure divine light. Breathing this in. And as you exhale, again, let your heart relax, release, and soften. And let this divine light, this pure light, be absorbed into all of your tissues in your heart space. All of your tissues, your oxygen, your fluids. Let it all be infused with this vibration of this pure divine light. And a big breath, and let's, again, with our hearts together, calling directly on our source, and call on that essence of that unconditional love. Call on your pure essence of unconditional love. And just feel this streaming into the center of our circle. And again, let your heart feel that feeling of that vibration of unconditional love. Let your heart acclimate to that vibration that begins to feel it, sense it, perceive it, trust it. And breathe in through your heart center this pure vibration of unconditional love. Al-Wadud. Nur Ya Wadud. Breathing in this vibration of divine light and unconditional love, allowing the breath to be like the waves from the divine ocean rolling on to your shore, the shore of your heart. And as it exhales, let it carry any of the clutter, the rocks, the pebbles, the stones, anything that's not needed in your heart, and let that be carried into the depths of the ocean to be purified. As you inhale again this water of divine light and unconditional love, and allow that to pour into the depths of your ocean on the other side. Like breathing this in through your heart center. With each breath, get deeper and deeper into your heart space, and let this water flow through your heart into the depths of your being, into the core of you, breathing in this essence of divine light, unconditional love, connecting you with the ocean inside yourself. And just let your heart be washed in this divine light and unconditional love. And give yourself permission to feel. Feel what is in your heart. It's our feelings that we try to suppress so often. And often we do it out of necessity. We don't have time to process every emotion in the moment, which is another reason why it's good to have a practice to do at least once a day, if not more. If you can do it more, that's great. But if you have even a practice like this where you can just say, hey, wait a minute, my heart's feeling a little heavy, feeling a little closed right now, I feel the door closing. Let me stop. Let me just call directly on my source and ask for that light to be sent to my heart, and let that come right to your heart and breathe it in and let it just clear that pathway between the outer part of your heart all the way into the depths of your ocean, and just breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. That only takes a few seconds when you can train yourself to just kind of stay tuned into the heart. How's your heart doing? Is it feeling a little heavy right now? Is it feeling like it's got too much to carry? And call on my source. Ask you to please send your divine light, your unconditional love, and your eternal compassion. Let's call on that essence of that eternal compassion, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahman. That eternal compassion is the ocean of compassion that contains us, that contains our entire universe, that's bigger than anything that this time and space reality can conceive of. Is an existence beyond what our minds can comprehend. We call on that essence, that vibration of Ar-Rahman, the ocean of divine compassion. This is when Rumi says, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the ocean in a drop. We are within this divine ocean of eternal compassion that extends beyond our time-space reality. And that ocean is contained inside your heart. So let yourself breathe that in through the passageway of your heart center into the depths of your divine ocean. As you breathe, just let yourself kind of lean back a little bit. Like you can upright your body and open your heart space and let your shoulders drop. And just let your head, your face, be like straight, looking straight, and perhaps down just a little bit to really contain this space, contain your globe, the globe of your energy body, which your soul is huge, it's vast. And in the planet Earth that gets pretty crowded, it helps to just contain your light within your space, kind of like a light bulb. Imagine this light bulb around you and this vertical core of your energy body that comes through the top of your head and runs along the front of your spine and all the way through your being, connecting you from the heavens to the earth. It's like you're this beautiful meeting place of heaven and earth. All of the earth's elements are contained in you, and the wisdom of the earth is contained in you. This breath of spirit is what gives life force and consciousness to these elements of earth that is their integration at the point of your heart center, is the emanation of you and your life and your expression of heaven and earth coming together. And you get to enjoy that play as it plays out through your existence. This is you. So breathe that in. And let yourself, as you breathe that into your, like through your heart and into that vertical core, let your energy body lean back toward your vertical core, toward the front of your spine. Let yourself lean back into that and breathe that divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion into that stream, into that core light of your own being. Breathing that in, and as you exhale again, just letting anything that is ready to go be released, anything that is that light that is wanting to pour through you, let that flow through you into your vertical core. Let that brighten and illuminate the truth of the light inside of you. As you do this practice, you're washing the pathway of your heart and strengthening, fertilizing, intensifying the light at your core. So you can reconnect and remember the core of your existence as this divine being, as you allow the pathway of your heart to be cleansed. So again, that breathing in that divine light, An-Nur, An-Nur, Nur, in you are Nur. And breathing that Nur, that divine light into the very center of your heart space, in that point where it meets in with your vertical core. Cleansing the eye of your heart through which you can see and perceive and relate to the world around you. And breathing in that unconditional love, Al-Wadud, Al-Wadud, Al-Wadud. And breathing in that vibration of Al-Wadud, the unconditional love, into your heart space. And again, letting each breath carry you deeper and deeper through your heart. Re-establishing, reopening those pathways for love to flow all the way through and into the depths of your own being, connecting you, reconnecting you in a conscious way to that connection which has existed forever. Carrying you into the depths of the ocean inside of you. As you exhale, relax, release, soften your heart, and allow this flow of your breath, again, like the waves of the ocean rolling onto the shore and then being drawn back into the ocean. And as it's drawn back into the ocean, again, let it carry any of the buildup from your heart space. And then the next wave that comes along is even fuller, and you can receive even more of the divine light and the unconditional love and the eternal compassion, Ar-Rahman. And allow your heart to feel. Sometimes it feels like there's been such a dam built around the heart that if we let any of the water through that dam, the whole thing's going to break and we won't be able to contain it. So go with what you can contain. A little drop at a time is okay. It will eventually get easier and more of that water will flow, and you'll experience more of the depth of your ocean. And then it becomes even easier to let more and more of it go, more and more of the blocks and the barriers. Another of the poet Rumi's poems, it says, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers that you have built against it. And this is a practice that allows us to release the barriers so that we can just be the ocean of love. You know, and you think about this when we think of being the ocean of love. This isn't for anyone else. It's not like so you can be the ocean of love even for your family or for your children or for, you know, for your community, for your whoever's struggling in your life. This is to be, just to be, for the sake of being that ocean. Yes, others will be affected by it. Others will be impacted by it. Others will receive and be able to drink deeply from just what what radiates and emanates from your ocean when they're around you, when they're in your space. And there is benefit to that, of course. One of the side effects. But for the moment, give yourself permission to be, just for the sake of being, and the sake of being you, and who and what you're created to be. And I want to call on your conscious body. On your conscious body to drop into your physical form. Really come into your body. Take a seat into your pelvic floor and into your seat as best you can. And feel the furniture beneath you, whatever is beneath you, the ground beneath you. Let your conscious body really drop into your physical space. This meeting of heaven and earth, this core light of your existence that meets with the earth elements of your physical form and all of the wisdom of the earth that gives form to your beautiful spirit being, your ocean of divine light and unconditional love. This exists within the presence of your physical self. So again, as you're grounded in your physical body, let yourself breathe in through your heart space this pure essence of divine light, Ya-Nur, of unconditional love, Al-Wadud, of eternal compassion, Ar-Rahman. Let this be breathed into your heart and through your heart, all the way into your vertical core. And with each breath, let this core light inside of you be intensified and be brightened and strengthened so that your energy is contained within you. Your light is contained within you. And I mentioned earlier being like the light bulb. And the light bulb puts out a lot of light, lights up a whole room. And yet it is electricity, the energy that runs through a little bitty tiny filament at the center of the light bulb, of the glass bulb around it. that is where all of the light comes from. So imagine that core light inside of you. And imagine that point at the center of your heart that meets that core light inside of you. And let this light, this divine light, and this unconditional love, and this eternal compassion get bigger and brighter and stronger right at that point inside your heart, and allow it to flow through your vertical core, intensifying the light, the electricity, by intensifying the electricity that runs through the filament inside your light bulb. And so all of your energy, let yourself draw it into your core light. You breathe in to your physical space, breathing in that essence of divine light, of unconditional love, of eternal compassion, breathing that in. And then giving yourself permission to feel. And underneath every feeling that you have and have ever had is a need, a basic human need. And then within that need, underneath that need, is a yearning. Underneath that yearning is a knowing. And within that knowing is that knowing of unconditional love. And that is the compass that has guided you through everything in this world. No matter how crazy some of your decisions may seem in hindsight, ultimately at the depth, you can trace through every layer of your being and always come back to this core of unconditional love. And it is by divine design that we forget the existence of unconditional love within us, in our connection to it. It's by divine design that we forget, and that we are looking for it outside of ourselves, but we're always looking for it. And what we're looking for is what we know inside of ourselves to be true and to exist. That's what's always been there, and that's how then the scars of the heart can guide you. They don't define you, they don't tell you who you are, but they can guide you like pathways back to the truth of who you are inside. That truth of you is that unconditional love that has always been seeking to return to it, to be one with it, to be it. So breathe that essence of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. And if you need to take a moment to forgive yourself, perhaps for the judgments that you've put on yourself, and you haven't realized that what has driven everything in your life at the core, at the depth of your being, has been this ocean of unconditional love. Just take a moment, and if there's anything in your heart that you feel like you want to forgive of yourself, forgive of others, or to release in any way, let's just take a moment and place that into the center of our circle. And in the name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate, let's place that into the center of our circle and come together. We call on you directly. We ask you for your guidance. We ask you for your help. We ask you for your healing. If it is in your wisdom They send your prophets, your angels of healing, your saints and perfected ones, your guides, your healers, helpers, all who are here to help, to support the healing and wholeness of every one of us. We call on you and we ask for you to send help in the forms that you send help, to help us to release the blocks and barriers from our hearts, and help us to forgive ourselves for our mistakes, that help us to return to your reality and to our knowing of your breath inside of us that breathes us, of your love inside of us that beats our hearts, of your wisdom inside of us that guides us every day. We ask you to return us to this place inside our hearts that knows you and yearns to be with you, to illuminate that light inside, to strengthen that spark that guides us and calls us home, home to consciously rest in your ocean and to be with you, to be one with you. Let's just breathe into that, and for everything that you're placing into the center of our circle, just allow that trust in the wisdom and allow that to be released, to be cleansed, to be purified, to be transmuted, to be returned to wherever it needs to be, or just to be burnt up like the burnt to ashes and blown away like dust in the wind. That's the quality of afu, which is the forgiveness that cleanses everything, erases it from the book, burns it up. Like, and there's times when you do those rituals where you write the things that you want to let go of on a piece of paper and you burn it in the fire, and it gets burnt up like burnt up to just ashes and blown away in the wind. This is the quality of afu, A-F as in Frank, U-W, afu. That's the transliteration of it. Afu, that forgiveness. Let's just do a round of that recitation with afu, the chanting of afu, to let all of those things be released from the heart, and trust in the wisdom of the divine. If there's another prayer that you want to make around that your heart be filled with knowledge, with truth, with wisdom, with that the relationships, pathways of your relationships to be cleared, for your heart to live aligned with divine truth, al-haq. Whatever that is for you, as we recite the afu, just trust that the wisdom and the wisdom of the one will put in your heart or reveal within your heart that which is true, that which is the guidance and the pathway that is there for you, that you seek to live a life of truth in this material realm. That quality again is afu. Al-afu means the forgiver. Al-afu. 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 Release it from your heart. Just place it into the center of our circle. That, whatever that is that you want to release or to forgive. Al-afu. 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 Al-Afu, 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 Al-Afu. Again, breathing in that pure essence of divine light, unconditional love, eternal compassion, allowing that vibration to flow through you and in you, carrying with it the wisdom, the knowing of truth, letting it cleanse from your heart. Cleansing any of the blocks and barriers. Letting your pathway of your heart become clearer, cleaner, less burdened, more open, more expansive. And let yourself feel the gratitude for all of this healing that is taking place. I want to read to you again the poem from Hafiz. You are the sun in drag. You are God hiding from yourself. Remove all the mine, that is the veil. Why worry about anything? Listen to what your friend Hafiz knows for certain. The appearance of this world is a Magi's brilliant trick, though its affairs are nothing into nothing. You are a divine elephant with amnesia, trying to live in an ant hole. Sweetheart, oh sweetheart, you are God in drag. Our beloved Hafiz. Sweetheart, oh sweetheart, you are God in drag. So take that in, breathe that in. Allow your heart space and your core light to be expanded. Just let yourself, with every exhale, rest deeper and deeper into the ocean of divine love at the core of your being, the truth of your existence. And let yourself again drop deeper and deeper into your body. Remember, this is a meditation that we do in body. It's not one of those we leave the body and then come back to afterwards. So let this light and this vibration integrate through to every cell of your being, to the consciousness of every cell of your being. Let this vibration be the vibration of your being. And continue to lift the vibration and increase the vibration of your being as you move forward to be the light you wish to see in the world, to be the love you wish to see in the world and to feel in the world, to be the ocean of compassion that you yearn for in the world. So again, let that anchor in as you breathe, and we'll bring this part of the call to a close, and I'll open for Q&A. So if you're listening to the recording of this call, I thank you for listening. I invite you to join us on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find information for joining these calls live at joyfullylivingwellness.com. While you're there, you can pick up your copy of the 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence, which gives you a one sheet that you can print out, make multiple copies, put it everywhere where you can see. It reminds you of the truth of who and what you are and what this life journey is about, because there are so many things in this world that are bombarding us with information that is other than that, other than truth, that we can do ourselves a favor by reminding ourselves as much as possible, in as many ways as possible, of the truth of who and what we are, doing daily practices, at least once a day, if not 2 or 3 or 4 times a day, or 5 times a day, reminding ourselves of the truth and helping ourselves to return back to that light within, to breathe it, to feel it, to be it, to sense it, to rest in it, and to cleanse our hearts of all the clutter that comes in from the millions of messages that bombard us on many layers of existence on all of the planes, especially on this material plane. So that, again, is a one sheet you can print out, put in your purse or your wallet, in your car, in your computer, in your refrigerator door, on your mirror, everywhere, to remind yourself of the truth of who and what you are. And with that, I invite you, if you feel like you need to, stretch out your feet and your toes and feel your presence all the way into your feet. You can put your feet on the floor or the furniture beneath you, and just feel that connection between your feet and what is beneath you. And again, bring your conscious body to drop in and rest into your pelvic space, and feel your vibration in physical body. Let it resonate to every cell and cleanse every cell, the consciousness from every cell of your being. And breathe and be. Breathe and be with love and gratitude. And with that, I'll stop the recording and open for Q&A.